The capital of France is Paris. You typed a few words, a machine finished them for you, and the whole thing felt like nothing. But look at that big empty gap in the middle. Between your words going in on the left and that one word coming out on the right, something real happened. We just don't get to see it. So what is actually going on inside that box? That box is a large language model, and this entire course is about what lives inside it. Here is what I want to do in the next few minutes. I'm going to draw the whole machine for you, once from end to end, as a single picture. You will not understand every part today, and that is completely fine. Each part gets its own episode later, where we slow down and open it up. By the end of today, you'll feel the shape of the whole thing, and you'll know exactly what we are taking apart next. Let me give you the one idea this whole course rests on, because everything else hangs off it. A language model does exactly one thing. It predicts the next word. That's the entire job. You hand it some text and it asks itself a single question over and over. Given everything so far, what word comes next? For the capital of France is, it weighs everything it has ever learned and decides that Paris is far more likely than London, or cheese, or a comma. The first time this clicked for me, I honestly didn't believe the whole thing could be that simple. Then it does something simple that turns that one trick into everything. It sticks the predicted word onto the end of your text and feeds the whole slightly longer sentence back in as if you had typed it yourself. Now it predicts the next word again, then again, one word at a time until it decides the answer is finished. So everything you have ever watched a model do, from answering a question to writing a whole page of code, is this same little move on repeat. Predict a word, add it on, feed it back, and predict again. That loop right there is the whole engine. So let's actually walk through the box, left to right, and meet every part in order. The first thing that happens is that the model chops your text into pieces. It doesn't read whole words the way you and I do. Instead, it breaks your text into chunks called tokens. Sometimes a token is a full word, and sometimes it's just a fragment of one, like straw and berry split apart. That little detail sounds boring, but it quietly causes some genuinely strange behavior that we'll dig into soon. For now, just picture your sentence cut into a neat row of tiles, where each tile is one token. Now the model runs straight into a wall. It can't do arithmetic on the word France, it can only do arithmetic on numbers. So every token gets turned into a long list of numbers, and the easiest way to picture that list is as a single point on a big map. Words that mean similar things end up sitting near each other on that map. So France and Paris land close together, while a word like cheese sits off in a totally different neighborhood. That is how the model writes down meaning as position, and those lists of numbers are called embeddings. By this point, your sentence isn't words anymore, it's a little constellation of points floating on a map. Now we reach the middle of the machine, and this is where the real work happens. On their own, those points still don't know anything about each other. So the word it has no idea what it's pointing at, and the word bank can't tell if we mean a river or a place that holds money. To fix that, the model runs a step where every word gets to look at every other word and pull in the context it needs. That looking around step is called attention, and it's the idea that made these models possible in the first place. One word asks what it needs to know, the other words answer, and the important ones get pulled in close. It's the part I was most excited to understand myself, and it gets a whole episode of its own. But one pass of attention isn't enough, so the model does it again and again. It stacks the very same step dozens of times, one layer on top of the last. Low down in that stack, a word only picks up the obvious things, like the word sitting right before it. Higher up, it's combining all of that into real meaning, like who did what to whom. By the time your words reach the top, the model has a genuinely rich sense of what your sentence is saying. Now we're at the far right of the machine, the part that finally commits to an answer. The model takes all that built up understanding and turns it into a score for every single word it knows. Picture a long row of bars, one bar for each possible next word, where a taller bar means the model thinks that word is more likely. For our sentence, Paris is a skyscraper, and almost every other word is lying flat on the floor. That whole spread of scores has a name. It's called a probability distribution. Think of it as the model's honest opinion about what should come next. Then the model picks a word out of that spread, usually one of the likely ones, and that's the token that finally pops out on the right. And here is the part that ties the entire machine together. That new word gets added onto your sentence. The whole thing loops back around to the left, and the machine runs from start to finish all over again. So the picture you are staring at doesn't run just once. It runs once for every single word, looping quietly until the answer is done. So let's step all the way back and take in the whole thing at once. Your words come in on the left, get cut into tokens, turn into points on a map, climb up through the stack where they study each other, and drop out the right side as one predicted word, which loops straight back around. That single continuous picture, start to finish, is a large language model. And now I'm going to number the boxes. Each numbered stage on this map is one episode of this course, so you're actually looking at the road ahead. We'll open the tokenizer first, then the map of meaning, then attention, then the full stack, and later how the whole thing gets trained and why it sometimes sounds so confident while being flat wrong. So let's answer the question we opened with. What is actually happening between your words going in and the next word coming out? Your text gets cut into tokens. Those tokens turn into points on a map. The points climb a stack of layers where every word gathers its context, and all of that gets squeezed down into a single best guess. That's the entire machine. And underneath all of it, it's just next token prediction running over and over. Now, that very first step hides more trouble than you'd ever expect. The exact way a model cuts your text into tokens is the reason it can trip over a word as simple as strawberry. So next time we open the very first box, the tokenizer, and watch how this quiet little step ends up shaping everything that comes after it. That's where our machine really begins.